I do like Tim Kaine a bit. I think he's a good boss. From all the stories that he has told of how he led the company and did things, I think he's reasonable. I think he does a good job at that. But I don't really like what he has to say about the games industry as a whole. He may be a good boss, he may be a reasonable person, but he's kind of recently been speed running the destruction of his own online career at this point. The last video where he talked about do gamers actually know what we want was just kind of blatant running defense for big gaming companies and calling the consumers wrong. The consumer's never wrong. That's the first thing you learn when you're selling things.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about, do devs know what gamers want? This video
could have been 5 seconds long. Some do, and they're really successful because they make Crimson Desert, they make things like Dark Souls, and some don't, and they crash and burn. Like Ubisoft and Bethesda. Those are not games, but massive game developers, but you get the point.
Video is a direct follow-up to my video last week, do gamers know what they like? Before I made that video, I just mentioned I was going to do it in a comment section almost 2 months ago.
2 months ago?
And Lyre Noir said, personally, I think do devs know what gamers want is even a better question. And you know what? They're right. So both that video, so I made that video and then I made this one pretty soon afterwards. Keep in mind, these were made back in November.
Okay.
Not even that late November, kind of mid-November. So I don't know what the comments
That sounds irrelevant, but okay.
Were on that other one, and I have no idea what the comments are going to be in this one. But I think it's better that way because I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to, do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want. We have it.
The redemption story? Wait, is it actually the redemption story? No, right?
No idea, seriously, what you want. I almost did this as a short. I was just going to do a short and go, do devs know what gamers want? Nope. And then cut it off.
Yeah, that would be... Well, that's what I said you should do.
You can stop here. If you want to know why it is we're so absolutely confused about what it is you want.
I think this is a great discussion on a serious level. Because, well, the discussion is not even about gaming as much as it's about morals and ethics, to be honest. Because, again, the current biggest problem in gaming is not bad games. Well, it is if you're Bethesda. Even if you try to make something not woke, you're probably failing because you're a bunch of clueless hacks. But for everyone else, it's just an easy choice of, do we try to make a game that the gamers like, or do we just, go woke and broke? That's the choice for most people, okay? It's not that hard. Games that don't do the woke stuff are way more successful than games that don't. Now, granted, is every game that doesn't go woke going to be successful? No, obviously not. It still needs to be at least reasonable. But they definitely have a longer time span than woke at the end of the day. Undeniable, I think, right?
Keep watching. Because I know some of you are like, it's stupid. We know what you should know what we want. We don't. Here's the longer answer. And it's all kind of can be summed up as, because you don't know either. But you got to remember, I'm saying the collective you. I wish English had the collective you. Southern English does. Y'all don't know what you want. Let me dive into that. This is a deep dive on why y'all don't even know what you want, which is why we don't know what to give you. First off, many of you only tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want, but what is it you want? I have an entire video on how to give good feedback, and I'll link it below.
We
But
talked about this already.
I can just say, when you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that, great.
Keep saying it.
What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, guess what? There's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters. But what is it you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you characters that with very little that you don't want to?
That's for the developer to decide, not the players. Okay, you can't ask the players to design the whole game for you in advance. The developers have to make these choices. Do they want a character that's funny? Okay, put it in. Do you want a character that's this? And then the people playing it are gonna say, I didn't like the funny character. And there's typically gonna be a reason given. And then you just fix that reason. It's not rocket science. It's actually very easy. So easy AI can do it.
Spend a time in a wall of text dialogue. What do you want? That's why you have to tell us what you want and not what you don't want. But wait, there's more. Even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game. I want better AI. I want a better UI.
Okay. If this video is just gonna be a rehash of the same exact points of what do gamers know what they want, I'm gonna be extremely now disappointed.
Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those.
That would work. That would be pretty good. Thank you for actually listening to the feedback. If you're gonna slide that slider, okay? Nice. I like it.
An entire video on why developers need context to your feedback. That's never more true.
It's not true. It's always false. How are there developers that do make good games out of nowhere? Without feedback, without any of that stuff, and people like it in the first. It's not like you can make a game and the only thing that you can make is bad, and then you need to listen to feedback and make it better. No, not even close. You can just make a good game from the beginning. You just need to understand what good is.
Truer than when you give feedback. When you give, especially positive feedback, if you don't say what you're talking about, it can be really vague. For example, what is better for you mean in a game? Or when you say, how is that AI bad? What are you talking about? What are they not taking cover? Are they just running straight at you shooting? What do you mean? When you say you
it feels like the same video we already watched at this point.
You don't like a UI. What is the friction point in that UI that you're encountering? What is it that's bothering you? If you just
the fact that it's designed by Ubisoft, probably
say that UI is dumb, it's not helping. And trust me, it's not just gamers who do this. I've worked with people who've literally said that out of their mouth. They're like, that looks dumb. Great, I'll get right on that. Sometimes though, and you know, I've talked about how some UI issues are really an underlying system mechanic issue. This comes up in the videos on encumbrance, where you can have a really good UI if your game supports encumbrance, but you take encumbrance out and suddenly that same UI is terrible because people can carry more. And suddenly there's a lot more things in their inventory, and the UI you were using for a limited inventory doesn't work for a UI with an unlimited inventory. So that's why you need to be very specific about what it is you didn't like. Do you really hate that UI, or do you hate that you can vacuum?
I'm sorry, but doesn't the solution to that problem, to that metaphorical problem, is just add search functionality? Like, you know, sort by... But wait, this is something that even game developers can't fucking deal with properly. You have games where you acquire a billion trillion items and the UI of your inventory doesn't even have sort by newest. Bro, again, a lot of this feedback that Tim is asking for should never be feedback that is given in the first place because it's blatantly obvious. Have an overwhelming amount of shit pouring in your inventory? Add a search bar. Add a sort by newest. Add sort by quantity. Add sort by, I don't know, category or some shit. It's not hard. And that should never even have to be feedback. We all know this.
Up everything.
Well, except developers, magically, how, again, they're really bad at basic, existent stuff.
And, or do you want to be able to vacuum up everything, but you just wish the game would somehow organize it?
Add a fucking filter.
Better. Be specific. Here's the one that really gets me, and that many of you refuse to acknowledge. You all...
I'm not gonna...
Again, I wish English had a play.
I'm not gonna acknowledge... do you think I'm gonna acknowledge what he says right now is true? I probably won't. We're gonna see, but I have a feeling this is probably gonna be something I will not acknowledge because it's not true.
You all do not agree on what a good feature is. Go back and watch both of my encumbrance videos. They're linked below. Or watch the video I had on fast travel.
Okay, this is a little bit unspecific because we can agree that good features are good, but when you get into the nitty-gritty, then it's a little bit harder, I guess. It depends on how much do you want to do it, okay? If you're making a role-play game as an open world good, probably yes, we can all agree with that. And stuff like that is easy, but when it gets to the super nitty-gritty, yeah, it becomes a little bit more problematic.
Travel. Or even the video I did on providing game difficulty, different options in there. Read the comments on it, which I know a lot of you don't do, and you complain that YouTube doesn't do a good job of sorting them. Just pick one of those videos, set it to show all the comments, and scroll for a few minutes. You will find that some of you literally say you will not play a game that is lacking a particular feature, and then keep scrolling, and you'll find people who hate games that have that feature.
Yes.
And it can be anything. Fast travel, VO, walls of text.
What is a human for 5,000? Easy.
Story mode. Some of you require it, and some of you skip games that have it. And you have reasons for doing it. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is there is no possible way to make a game that will make all of you happy. What's interesting to me, and this channel has made me...
That's not the problem. The problem is the devs are currently choosing to make games literally to make 5 fucking people happy.
You really acknowledge it. You don't even agree on the fact that all of you are disagreeing. Some of you don't acknowledge there are any other game players out there. There was a video I did where I said people frequently want better graphics, but a lot of you ask for better graphics. And someone said, and I quote, "No one asked for better graphics." I guess you never read a review and you don't
absolutely based
go on any forum boards, because yes, they do. And keep in mind, better graphics. Sometimes they're just talking about they want a higher resolution. They bought a 4K monitor and they're upset they're not getting a game in 4K. Sometimes they want a farther view distance. They're upset that it clips really early.
Thank God I have no idea what 4K means. Otherwise, I may actually be upset. The less I know about how computers function, the better my life is, honestly. I do the same for women and their biological needs, by the way. I refuse to know basic biological facts because that instantaneously ruins it.
Or that there's always things blocking their view. They don't get a nice wide view of anything. Sometimes they just mean more creature variety or more location variety. These are all better graphics. These are all things that require a lot more art time, a lot more things to be loaded in, a lot better optimization of your engine. These are all going into the category of better graphics. And all of you, I guarantee, have asked for some form of better graphics at some point when you're responding to a question of what did you like and dislike about this game. Now keep in mind too, sometimes you guys talk about art style, but everything I just mentioned, even if the art style stays the same, you will need more polys and more textures and more everything just to give you more creature variety. Okay. Or more location variety. So just that means it falls under the aegis of better graphics, but means more work, more artists, more time, more money.
That sounds like a completely not my problem, okay? That's not my issue. Again, stop blaming the consumers, the gamers, the fans for things that we do not need to be blamed for. If you can't fucking make a game because it's too expensive to make non-shit graphics, that's a you problem, baby. It really is.
And many of you who say, well, I don't really care about graphics. I'm one of you. Graphics have never been high on my list of what I care about in a game.
Same,
But
actually.
many, many, many players are attracted to a game by its pretty graphics, even if they stay.
Not actually true. I didn't want to say it, but typically real gamers don't demand the best graphics. And I'm using real gamers very loosely here, and I'm saying demand real graphics. People want graphics to not look like shit, but most people will not care about graphics. Granted, obviously, I know already if some of you are thinking, I want better graphics. Yeah, so do I, in the sense that I don't want the game to look like garbage, and, if they can improve the graphics, then they should improve the graphics. I also agree with that. But almost no gamer really demands graphics as the first thing why they choose to play a game. The game can look pretty, and I think that's a separate thing. But just on the basis of, oh, these graphics are really advanced, I don't think there's a lot of people who play games because of that. There are definitely the ones who do, but that's not some kind of super large quantity of people. Remember that Nvidia did the statistics for what actually people choose? People overwhelmingly, like 3 or 4 to 1, choose to lower graphics so they get better FPS. It's not even close. Better FPS almost always wins over graphics. You can get used to the graphics, but you can't get used to fucking stuttering and shit. That just kills the experience. So yes, everyone will choose so many different things over better graphics. I would argue, by the way, that even sound is something that people are going to choose over graphics, because the reality is, it's like, this is kind of a known thing, and I'm really pedantic towards myself about sound. I always think it's bad, because some people actually do say my sound is bad, but some other people say it's fine. It can also depend on the stereo system that you're using, honestly. But if you have really bad sound for a video but amazing graphics, people are not gonna watch it. But if you have shit graphics but the sound is good, people are gonna watch it more. That is also a fact that a lot of people know. Graphics are nice, but graphics are kind of low on the bar for the thing that people really, really care about. Again, there are people who do care about it, that's their choice, but most people are not gonna. It's not a make or break the graphic.
Afterwards because the gameplay is so good. Pretty graphics open the door. I've told some designers under me, sometimes it's like dating. Your head may be turned by the prettiness, but you stay because of the personality and the chemistry. So it's like that with games. Make a pretty game, more people will at least get their eyeballs on your game. Then they're stay because of the mechanics. And then later on, they're deny ever even looking at your game because it was pretty.
And
One of the things I want to point out is many of you argue against things that would make a game that even tries to provide more things for more players. And I've talked about how design by committee is bad, which I agree with. And usually that leads to making a game that's so bland and vanilla that no one can really have an argument against it, but nobody really feels like playing it. What I mean by that is many of you literally have argued that games should have fewer game options. I'm not even talking about game difficulty, just fewer game options. I have a video.
oh, I know that one. I don't agree with a lot of these things. Anyway, this video at least wasn't egregious. 10 out of 10. That's our boy Timothy Kane, one of the founders of Fallout. 10 out of 10. Bye.